Hola, señor Hintapan. Hola, compañeros de clase. How are you today? So right now, I'm going to discuss about superlatives in Spanish rather. So, superlative, el superlativo. So right now, this is your host. This is your reporter for today, Maria Teresita El Pugoy. So right now, let's start. So, superlative in Spanish, el superlativo, refers to comparison between two or more items where one comes above all the others, such as the most or at least. Okay, the least, the very most or the very least. Okay, so we all know in adjectives we have comparative adjectives and superlative adjectives, but we're going to focus on superlative adjectives for today in Spanish. Okay, so first one is superlative adjectives is to compare adjectives. Example, pretty, interesting, lazy in Spanish. So you are use the following structures. So as you can see on the monitor, there's you can see in English, okay, and Spanish. So let's move on to the let's just focus on this one first. Okay, for English, you can see the most. Okay, anything that you want to say, the most beautiful girl in BHM 3A9, or the most intelligent student, or so on. Okay, so in Spanish here we are going to use el, la, los, las, mas for adjective. Okay, so later on I'm going to tell you about, I'm going to show you some examples. Okay, so the very least, okay, here from the second one, so we're going to use the least or the worst, okay, and so on. That is, we're talking about irregular. Later on I'm going to discuss four types of superlatives in Spanish. Okay, then the other side we are going to use also here el, la, los, las, menos. So here, el, la, los, las, mas. Mas. So Bisaya, mas guapa ka. Mas guapo siya. Okay? So here, menos meaning negative. Menos guapos or dili siya ang pinaka least when you talk about something, describing something. Okay? So next, be careful, there is an attention, says the adjective and the definite article el, la, los, and las have to agree with in gender. Okay, so as we all know in Spanish, you have to connect, you have to collaborate the gender and the number of the noun or so on. Okay, number with the noun they refer to. Okay, so that's it, you have to think about it. Okay, remember that one. So next one here, I'm gonna give you the example. So as you can see, so I highlighted there the color, so you remember orange and yellow are Spanish, and blue and sky blue, light blue or something, are English. So for example, la princesa era la más bella de todas. So meaning in English, the princess was the most beautiful of all. So la más bella, bella there is beautiful. So la más bella, pinaka guapa. Okay, so the most beautiful of all. So the most in English. Okay, so again, when you use the most, not only one that you're comparing to. Again, if you talk about comparative, you're going to add er or more or are only, but here we're talking about superlative, so we use the most or add s or st. Next example is el gato. So based on the screen, el gato es la más ágil. Okay, so de todos los animales, so that means the cat is the most agile of all animals. Okay, so next one, estos chicos son los más altos de mi clase. So that means these boys are the tallest in my class. Okay, so again, you can see it clearly. So when you say El más agile, so it means the most agile. El más, okay, because we're talking about gato. So el. Next is los más, because we're talking about the chicos, which are the boys, more than one. Okay, so it's plural form. So boys are the tallest. Okay, so altos, tallest or altos. Okay, alto, altos in Spanish in my class. Okay, so those are the examples. Now let's move on to, okay, another example that you have to remember. So take note, it says there, okay, note, okay, note that sometimes the superlative changes slightly its place in the sentence. Okay, you're going to change. Same in English. If you're comfortable of speaking in Spanish, you can easily adapt this. Okay, so consider me, I'm reading here my script, so just focus in here. Okay, example, okay, esta es la casa más moderna, so it means this is the most modern house. So la casa, the house. Okay, so the most modern house, so you could say la casa más moderna, so you can, it can be changed. Okay, you can not only just la más bella or la casa más moderna, you can change the okay, so the superlative in its place. Next is esta casa es la más moderna, it means the house is the most modern. So one there is optional. You can put one, modern one, or no need to put one. Okay, again, you can either say this house is the most modern one, or this house is the most modern. Okay, so those are an example. So let's move on to the second part. So second part of the rule upon applying superlative. Okay, so superlative absoluto with adjectives. Okay, there is another type of superlative, el casa. Okay, here again there is another type of superlative called el superlativo. So absoluto, so absoluto, which is used with adjectives and expresses that something or someone is extremely something. So extremely beautiful, extremely talented, extremely like so when you describe something that is very at the topmost. Okay, so to form these we add suffix. So in Spanish you have to add suffix, so you can add it on the last part of the word. Okay, so here we have isimo for masculine, isima for feminine, then isimos for plural form, for masculine plural form, then isimas for feminine plural form to the adjective. Okay, so for example, let's move on to for example again. So as you can see, I colored also the Spanish words. Okay, here, tu hijo es altísimo. Okay, tu hijo es altísimo, your son is extremely tall. So alto, alto, that is tall. Altísimo. Okay, your son is extremely tall. Tu hijo es altísimo. Okay, let's move on to the next one. María es inteligente. Okay, so inteligentísima. So actually my eyes was being distracted by the lights. Okay, so inteligentísima. So Maria is extremely intelligent. So that's me, Maria. Kidding. Okay, so here another example is esos coches son rapidísimos. So from the word rapidísimos. Okay, then those cars are extremely fast. So in English, rapid from the word rapid is very fast. Okay, so quick. Okay, next is tus amigas parecen simpaquísimas. Okay, simpaquísimas. Your friends seem extremely friendly. Okay, so just remember the words in Spanish. Okay, so right now let's move on to the third rule. Okay, So as you can see there, superlative with verbs. Okay, so superlative with verbs. We can use superlative with verbs, but it works quite differently to English. So have look at the table to see the formula. So right now I'm going to give you another set of formulas or how to formulate it. Okay, notice that we need some relative pronoun here. Okay, so we have to use relative pronoun. So again, then this part here, as you can see, okay, English and Spanish, and these are the examples. Okay, so verb, when you say in English the most, verb plus the most. Okay, you can add verb then the most. Okay, is the most. So here in Spanish, you remember pronombre or something, el que, la que, los que, las que, verb must. Okay, you have to add must. Verb, then you have to add must. Next is when you say the least. Okay, so el que, la que, los que, las que, then menos. Okay, verb plus menos. Okay, so for example, so that you can practice. Okay, so Maria is la que trabaja menos de todas. Okay, again, Maria is la que trabaja menos de todas, meaning in English, Maria is the one who works the least of all of them. Okay, so work the least, so menos, least, menos. Okay, next example is Tomas es eque más en mi familia. Again, Thomas es eque más en mi familia. So Thomas is the one who eats the most in the family. So dako siya kaon. He eats a lot. Okay, Thomas is one of the one who eats the most in the family. Next, los helados de fresa son los que me gustan más. Okay, so again in English, strawberry ice cream are the ones I like the most. Okay, next example. Okay, strawberry ice cream. Okay, it's being repeated. Next one here. Estas faldas son las que me gustan menos. Okay, so it means these skirts are the ones I like the least. Okay, so those are an example for superlative with verbs. Now let's move on to the fourth part. So the fourth part here is the irregular superlative. So what are irregular? So that means you cannot see the word on the, for example, you talk about the adjective, it will change. Okay, for example, if you say good become better and best. So good, better, best, those are irregular adjectives. Okay, so in comparative, better, but in superlative, best. So this you have to consider also. So here, as you can see, it says some adjectives and adverbs have irregular superlative forms to express the most. Okay, so to express the word the most, you have to consider them. They will change the word. So sometimes it's a little confusing. Same with English and Spanish. All you have to do is to familiarize them, study, and apply it upon speaking. Okay? Excuse me. Next one is, however, they remain regular when expressing the least. Okay? When it's the menos one. Okay? So original form, for example, bueno. So what do you mean by bueno in Spanish? So it means good in English. But when you talk about superlative form, it's supposed to be form, not for. It is el la mejor, las mujeres. Okay? As you can, as you can see, okay, I hope you can see it clearly. It's a little bit small, but I just want to use the space so that you will not be confused upon tracing the words. Okay, so here are original form, here are superlative form, and here are English form. Okay, so again from the start, These are the irregular when expressing the least. So original form, bueno, in original form in Spanish. Superlative form, it's el la mejor, los la más mejores, okay? Or in English is good, or it will become the best, okay? So next one is malo. Malo in Spanish meaning in English it is bad, okay, or it will become worse. So in Spanish it will be the same, pores, okay, el la por, las pores. If it's plural you will add s, okay? So masculine, el, la for feminine, then you just add por, then los, and then las, and then puedes, okay? Next, grande means big, huge, okay? Grande. El la mayor, los las mayores, big or the biggest, okay? For English you would say the biggest. Next, pequeño, it's an adjective. El la menor, las los menores. So in Spanish and English it will be small or the smallest, okay? So let's now move on to examples. So here are the examples, okay? I give you some ejemplos. So for example, Daniel es el mejor en matemáticas, okay? Matemáticas, okay? So Daniel is the best in maths, matemáticas. Next, vosotros sois los peores en educación física, okay? Vosotros sois los peores en educación física. So you are the worst in sports class, physical, PE, physical, okay? So those are an example. Okay, so that's all for today, for tonight rather. Thank you for listening, okay? So be careful guys, so that you will not get sick. You have to drink water every day, okay? So maybe my voice is not good today, but it's okay. We are going to work it out soon. So thank you so much and have a nice day. Goodbye. Thank you for listening. Mine.